All right, here we go. It's October 30th, almost Halloween. I can't believe it. It's going to be daylight savings again. We're going to be in the dark early. I hate that. But anyway, welcome back, everybody. I know there's a few new ones on here, and I think we probably have a few people that are coming out of the woodwork, dusting themselves off to because they saw my announcement here. But we've been talking, I've been alluding to this about Optimancer for a while, and we have Chris on here, Chris Ormiston. He's the brains behind all the programming, behind all our goodies. Site Pop and now Optimancer. And I think this is going to absolutely blow your mind. I know some of you have been listening in on Perry's AI, or he calls it AEO, which I think is ridiculous. It's it's AI optimization. It's That's what it is, and these guys are all trying to make up new terms for it so they can kind of put their label on it and own it. But I think AIO is probably going to be the thing that sticks because that's what it is. It's AI optimization. I haven't heard anybody except some of these knuckleheads in the industry call it AEO, and that's AI engine optimization. Nobody refers to AI as engines. It was search engines. So they're just trying to mutilate the game anyway. But anyway, what it comes down to, some of the most important things about optimizing for AI is some of the same stuff that was really important in SEO, just with a little different variances. And I think probably the biggest one is the schema. If your site doesn't have schema, you're not going to play the game. You're just going to go fish. And another one is the LLM file. Some people say this is really important, some don't. But here's what I learned about SEO over a multi-decade period is if you do everything that can possibly ever affect the results in a positive way, it doesn't matter what happens when they change. You're always going to be out front. And if you do it right from the beginning, when they do change, what happens is it jets you out in front of the crowd and they're all trying to play catch up. So, whether LLM is a big factor right now or not, I think it will be in the future. So, we've got that plugged right in, right out of the gate. So, I don't know. What do you think, Chris? How important do you think the LLM is? And the only reason I bring this up is because Perry and his team, they say we did all this kind of testing and we don't see it as being relevant at all at this point.
That's interesting you would say that. I've never heard that before.
Yep,
And
I haven't either.
I just got done with like a 3-day seminar just on LLMs
Yeah.
with AI experts that's all they talked about for 3 full days. And it wasn't it clearly wasn't their impression either that LLMs were not important. There's a lot more to LLMs than just the file as well.
Yeah.
But it's basically it's basically the way that you can just give your entire website over, just like the robots.txt. You
Mm,
give it over to AI in one little nutshell in a way that they can absorb it and be able to understand it without having to like scrape your website because for the most part, AI is blind. Like it doesn't know a lot of things. It can't see things on your page. What it does is it sees shadows of the things that you do on it, but it doesn't see your page itself. So it needs all the help that it can get
yeah.
because it's like a bat. It's just kind of flying around, kind of blind, but it can kind of pick stuff up from inferences and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting how it's set up.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing too is the way that you format content for AI is a little bit different than for search engines. Search engines are doing a lot of stuff. They're trying to figure out who's the most relevant to be at the top and they're chewing through a lot of content. With AI, what AI is doing is looking to answer questions for the most part. People are on there and they're not going in there typing in keywords. They're not typing in search phrases. They're having conversations and they're looking for answers. So this thing is an answering mechanism for the most part. So if it looks at your content and it can't decipher any answers, then you got a problem. It's not going to see you as relevant. So Q&A is really important. FAQs, frequently asked questions, because you lead basically with the answer. And then it sees that, and then it sees the relevant content related to it. So that kind of content is going to be really important. And some of the pages that I've seen that are being built for this, what happens is the actual title of the page is the question, or it's the answer, and then it leads into like what the if they give the answer, then they lead into the question, and then the meat and potatoes of it. But it's like boom, you've got your header right up there. Here's what this page is about. It's answering this question. So when you guys start to structure content, like whether it be a blog or a social media post, all of it's the same. It's answering questions. So if you format your content accordingly, you're going to be in a lot better shape. That's where we have a lot of tools for that kind of stuff in the AIO Dominator. And I'll be probably, there's a lot of crossover. Those of you that have been beta testing the AIO Dominator, there's a lot of crossover in a lot of the tools. So I'm probably going to thin that out at some point here real soon and just make it a little simpler. But what Chris has come up with is amazingly simple. I mean, it's like looks at your site, gives you all the answers, and then gives a plug-in to fix it. So, Chris, I think I should probably just let you roll on this and talk a little bit about your creation here. And
Okay. Sounds good. Maybe I can just kind of enter this with just with like a quick explanation of like how this kind of came about. I mean, John and I, we've been talking about this for a long time, but we have a client that we've been working with, and this client said, we really need this. And it's a big manufacturing client. And they have thousands of pages. And so when we were looking at this, we're like, how do we manually do thousands of pages of optimization? So we decided not to and to write the software instead. So the software is doing the heavy lifting. And so that's primarily how we do all of our software is, John and I, we've got needs and we write software for ourselves. Then we're like, hey, let's make it so everyone else can use it too because this is pretty cool. So this is no different than what we've done in the past. And so even though that this is made for enterprise level applications, it can work on any size website. And we're going to show you that today. In fact, we're going to work on a smaller website just so we can get through it faster, and I can show you each of the different steps along the way. So without any further ado, let me share my screen here real quick and I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, so what we're looking at here is this is the dashboard. When you first log in to AIO, that is your list of all of the different sites that you're working on. This may look a little bit complicated, but when I break it down, you'll see how simple this is right here. So right at the beginning, we can see that we're showing 8 out of 10 websites. So I've got 10 available I can do. I've done 8 of them so far. We're going to do another one today. In fact, be thinking if you guys have a website you would like me to do. I'm going to use one of your websites. We can analyze one of your websites today. And I'd like it to be probably 20 pages or less. So if you know of a website that has 20 pages or less, maybe it's a restaurant, maybe it's a barber, maybe it's a chiropractor or a pest control company, something like that. Go ahead and type it into the chat window here, and we'll grab one of those and we'll do one of those today so you can see what it looks like on a site that you're familiar with.
you know what I found when I ran a report in here, I ran it on my own site,
Yeah.
and I know my site's only got about 20 pages,
Yeah.
but it came back with like 200 and something pages. And I'm
hmm
like, what in the hell? And I'm looking at these URLs, and I didn't realize that WordPress creates a whole bunch of pages, and they all have URLs to them. It
Yeah,
was
like all your categories and stuff like that have individual pages for those. It's strange. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that WordPress was doing all that in the back end. So that was like, I'm like 288 pages. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
I know.
And I,
It's funny because one of mine too is the same thing. I thought I had a really clean website that had like 8 pages to it. That's all I needed. And it came up with 17 pages. And I'm like, wait, this can't be right. And I had like 6 or 7 404 pages on my site. And I'm like, man, this was a pretty clean site, and I still have problems. And so outside of all of the optimization we're going to do, like John and I are mentioning here, is like you're going to see some problems that the search engines see that you don't. And those are also things that are fringe benefits that you're going to get out of this, which is some spring cleaning that we got to do once in a while, right?
yeah, this is going to be a deal where you go in here with the intent to optimize for AI, and you're going to come out with SEO that's absolutely spectacular.
Yeah. That's one thing that I want to emphasize too is that everything you do for AI is going to help you with SEO and vice versa. Now, you're going to see some SEO in here. The SEO that I've included in here is only relevant to the AI aspect of what we're doing. So this is really focused on AI optimization. Even though there's some SEO in here, it's like where they collide. That's where the worlds kind of collide in here. So you need to pay attention to those particular SEO aspects to make your AI work. Now, there's tons of SEO stuff we're not going to talk about today that's still important. So don't get me wrong, that stuff is still relevant. It's still awesome. It's just not what we do here. We have other tools for that. We do that in other ways and in other, for other reasons. But this right here is everything is completely focused on ranking and being picked up in the large language models or in ChatGPT and all the other AI platforms. So this right here is going to show you a list of all of the projects that you're working on. And let me see, do we have any suggestions here? Let me see. I'm going to go to chat. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. World of Grace. All right, this is great. Maybe we'll do this one. All right, let's do this one. This is a great one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce everything just by going through it and doing one. I'm thinking that's probably the easiest way to do this. So the first thing you want to do is add a website. It's real straightforward. You just put in the website right here, and then you just click on Let's Get Going. And you can see up here, the collection is started, and we're discovering the website pages right here. So you can see it's pretty quick. It's already found 6 web pages right here. And it's running pretty quick. It's gonna pick up at least 51 pages per minute right here. So this is just kind of a prediction based on what it was been able to find. Now, what it's doing, it just in practicality, is it's going out there and it starts with the home page and it says, "Oh, is there a menu on the home page? If so, what are all the links that that menu goes to? And are there links on the page and are there links in the footer? Like, sometimes we have a um, terms and conditions and a privacy policy and other things like that, which are important, right? So it goes to the whole page and looks for every link that is on that page. If there's external links, it just ignores those. But if it's a link that's on the page, it goes and it finds it. And then it goes to that page and says, is there any links on here that I haven't seen yet? Oh, here's 2 more that I haven't seen yet. And it just goes through every page until it exhausts itself and says, I know every page that is linked on all the pages right here, right? So what we did is we found 6 pages. And so this is what we found. Now, right off the bat, we can already tell there's some problems because you see how these pages are untitled pages. That means that right here, these pages don't have a title tag, which is really important for both AI and for SEO. So that'll be the first thing that we're going to want to do. And you're going to want to put in like about us and collections and contact and home and VIP insider. And up here, you'll want to put in like, um, I am Wild Grace, right? And so this is where it all starts right here. We can see that it's completed. And so this is kind of where we end right here on the front page. And then here's your cue on what to do next. There's a couple of things on here. This is basically a step-by-step process that you'll want to go through in the order that it's in. And you'll see why in just a second. And so basically, when you're done with this one, you're going to want to go to this one. You can click here and go to your page vault. You can click here, go to your page vault, or you can say, what do I do next? And it'll come up here and it'll say, oh, once this initial scan completes, it'll give you a quick synopsis of what just happened. Go to your page vault. So basically, everything on here, it's like all roads lead to Rome, right? And then also, if you're wondering, like while this is churning, like some of these pages will take a few minutes to run. This is a great time to go in here and say, what is it actually doing behind the scenes? So what I did is I wrote up a little synopsis of like what's happening behind the scenes, so you can really understand what's happening because there's a ton of stuff that's going on that's happening in real time. Some of it is machine learning, where I've built in logic and intelligence on the back end where it's doing some analysis. Other parts of it, it hands it off to AI so we can have relevant and current results from what we're looking at. It'll bring those in, it'll mesh those together, and it'll formulate the results. And then this will just kind of give you an idea of what's kind of going on here. And then we also have a section on each page. What can I do here? Like what are the buttons do that are on this page? And so every single page that we're going to go to has these buttons up here, which is what am I doing now? And what do I need to go next? All right, so let's just go ahead and click on go to page vault. Now the page vault is really simple. This is mostly a review right now, but basically what this does is it shows that we've captured the entire website and get this, we stored it on our server. So we don't ever have to go back to that website unless we want to refresh it and take another snapshot. That way we're not bogging down the website and keep and having to go back there and look at it over and over again. So this is more of a courtesy thing. And it's also it's a snapshot in time so we can do comparisons when we make improvements. Say, for instance, we spend a couple of days and we put FAQs on all the pages, we put the LLMS text file that's out there, we do some schema, and then we want to scan it again and look and see like what it looks like now. So basically, here is a place where you can go back and you can rescan the entire website and it'll bring in a new version and we can just start comparing back and forth. But for now, it's just review because we're not ready for this yet. But this is good to make sure is it getting stored because nothing else can happen unless it's stored. So what you're looking for on this page are green right here. If you see this green and you don't see red ones, it's time to go to the next page. So I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to go up here to general analysis.
Before
Now this
before
page
you
right
go on,
here.
Chris, let me jump
Yeah.
in here for just a second.
Okay.
For those of you that are going to be doing this as a service and you're going to be supplying service to clients, what he just said here is really super important because the first snapshot, you're going to show the client the report of how messed up their site is. And then as you fix it, you'll be able to generate a new report and actually show them what they're paying you for. That has been really difficult in SEO. Justifying the means has been really hard. So this is going to simplify that, and your clients are going to love this and they're going to be happy to pay you for it.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to throw that out there before you go on.
Yeah, because we've all had clients that are out there as agencies, and they're like, in fact, I have one right now, the one who paid us to do this actually, and they're like, show us our ranking improvements on AI, right? And I'm like, I don't know how to show you ranking on AI because AI doesn't rank. It's just like, Um, and from what we understand right now, the industry knowledge is that it takes somewhere between 2 and 5 months to get into the large language model for it to process because they're just like Google. They pull in data and then it takes it a while for it to like get in place for you to be able to search on it and make it available. It's no different with AI. A lot of people don't realize how expensive AI is just to get off the ground. That's before anyone starts using it. Like if they come up with like, you know how like ChatGPT comes out with like, 4.2 and 4.7 and then 5 and things like that. When they're testing, like when they tested 5, I think it was $280 million just to do the test to see if it was working. They had to do that 5 times before they released it. So those are the numbers just to test it, kind of a thing. And so that's why they don't go out there and scrape all the time because it costs $280 million. to ingest that data and process it, kind of a thing. So anyway, it takes a little bit of time. Now, as you notice, that what just happened on the screen right here is that uh, I didn't click any buttons. Did you notice that? I've just been chatting, right? But look what happened. So basically, all this stuff kind of happens behind the scenes. Like if you just put in your initial scan and you walk away and you have lunch and you come back, all this stuff is going to be done for you. I'm kind of rushing it right now so you can kind of see what it looks like because it's interesting. But you don't have to sit here and look at this stuff. I do because it's fascinating. And I like analyze it as it's going through so I can be busy analyzing stuff like that. But basically this just went out there and scanned the entire site and it analyzed I think it's 64 different areas. And we break this up into four different or five different categories. So let's kind of go through these categories real quick. You can see it's 44%, and that's very common. Usually it's somewhere between 30 and 50%. I don't think I've really seen more than 50 or 60%. That's like super good when it comes to AI. Um, and I'll show you why. So basically what we look for up here is the technical infrastructure. So these are like how fast does the page load? AI is interested in that, obviously, because it needs to get to the content quickly as well, right? So, what is your first input delay? And so, what we do, we can come up here, we can say, oh, um, it was 17 milliseconds. And that's really fast. And so they got 100% on this one because that is a really fast. The website came up, boom, immediately, just like it was sitting there waiting for us. However, it took a little bit longer for it to paint. And what it means to paint is like when you come up here, what does it look like? How long does it take to be able to see Grace and this front page so you can kind of see what it's all like? And in this case, it took 1.5 seconds. Not bad at all, right? But it's still not as good as it could be. And so it gave a little bit less of a score on this one. Still good, 78 right here. Um, and then it just goes down. Cumulative layout shift. Have you guys heard of cumulative layout shift before? I didn't either before I started doing this, right? So when I started doing research to find out what is important to AI, this is one of the things that came up. And so we started looking at this. Basically, when you have a website that comes up, how much does it move around before it stops and it's like you can start using it, right? And so that's important because it confuses users. And with the technology we have right now, we can do lots of stuff on websites. We can make motion, we can do all kinds of fun stuff. It can be very helpful sometimes, and if it's done wrong, it's bad. And so that's what this cumulative shift right here is. Is it moving around too much before you can get to it? And in this case, it's not moving at all. It's just like boom, it comes up and it's like ready for you to use. That's exactly what we're looking for, or close to it, because sometimes you want it to move. Like maybe you have like something that's moving on one side, and it's moving for a purpose, and so you know, like okay, that movement, it's purposeful. It's not a mistake. Mobile responsiveness. Can it be seen properly on mobile phones? That's really important. This really needs to be 100% if it's not, because everybody consumes their stuff on phones most of the time now. 4G load time. This is great. So basically, this will load fast on a phone and on a desktop. So we basically have banks of phones out there that test these websites, and we are able to see what the actual load time is on here. Orphan pages count. What we didn't find is any stray pages out there that shouldn't be there. So that's good too. Now, if you have one or two, this is a great chance to go clean it up. And sometimes they're out there for a reason, and they should be out there. For instance, if there's pages that are made only for like emails to get to, but not the website to get to. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we have promotions and things like that, and we don't want to get to it from a link in the menu or on a page. But if you have an email, you want it to get to the website and be on the website, right? So there's some reasons to have orphan pages, but has none, which is great. Breadcrumb navigation. Everybody knows what that is. At the top of a page right here, it typically will have like where you are in relationship to the page. That's really important too. Here's some schema, robots.txt file, XML markup, LLMS file. That's the AI specifically, canonical URL implementations. All this stuff you can kind of see how SEO kind of leaks into all this stuff, right? I don't want to go through all this stuff today because it's real detailed, but if you click on details on any of these pages right here, it'll tell you what it is. Because some of this stuff I'd never really seen before either, just to be completely honest. Most of the stuff I had. Um, but when I started getting into AI, it's new. It's new to everybody, right? Is it secure? Static resources, time to first byte, so all that kind of stuff. Now, the second one right here is your content AI available? Is it ready for AI to ingest? And clearly on here, it's not ready for AI at all. Now, sometimes that is the content itself, and sometimes that's just the structure of the site. So those two combined are what kind of determine if that website is ready for the LLMs, the bots that come in and learn about the website. Is it ready for them? And in this case, no, it's not ready at all. So there's some things that need to happen here. Here's another one right here. EEAT signal score. Has anyone ever heard of EEAT before? This is all AI stuff. Expertise, experience, authority, and trust signals. Now, Google kind of set the standard for trust signals. Like we've all heard of authority when it comes to Google and the search engines, right? And it started that way. And I don't know if you guys know, but I basically was involved with Google helping them build their algorithms back when they had like 9 guys. It's like, and they're all PhDs. So when we were working on those PhD or on the algorithms together, it was very clear that they valued citations. They're PhDs, and that's how they wrote all their papers for the last 10, 15 years when they were doing all their doctorate level work in their fields of expertise. And they had to cite everything to prove that it was correct, right? Well, they carried that on, and that's why linking is important because these are like their citations to say, "Hey, I vouch for this website," right? Well, AI takes it even a step further, and the reason why is because it lies, and everybody knows AI lies. So now it has to go back and you're like it's just like in real life. It's like say for instance you have a friend or maybe it's a son or a daughter or something like that and you trust them, right? Until they lie to you the first time and then every word out of their mouth after that you're thinking, I wonder if that's the truth, right? And then they have to kind of earn that trust back for those thoughts to go away. Well, right now we have a wayward AI son who lies to us all the time. It's like we all have a 12, 13, or 14-year-old that's telling us stuff, right? And for the most part, they're pretty spot on, but every once in a while they'll tell you a zinger and it sounds pretty darn good and so you believe it, right? And so that's why we have this EEAT signal score right here on your website is because it knows people don't trust it and it needs a citation. So like if there's something that you put on here and you have like a credential, if you have a source that you pulled it from, like say for instance you're in the medical field and you can cite a medical study or something like that that goes along with what you're talking about, that is what we're talking about right here. So this is what we do to look at your entire site to see if there's any signals that indicate expertise, experience, authority, and trust. Okay. Um, all right, let's keep going on here because this gets a little bit boring after a while. Everything in here is all about content. It's like, is your content good and is it ready for AI to use to share with other people? Right here, clearly it's not, and we won't go over that why it's not today, but this is just kind of telling you that it's not, and there's no FAQs present. So FAQs are probably one of the top 3 things that are important with AI because it is based off of natural language processes. And natural language being, I ask a question. I'm not just saying bike tires and expecting, Google to come back with a whole list of people who have bike tires, right? What I'm saying is, I'm looking for a CS33 bike tire to fit my road bike or whatever. So that's the question that I asked. I said all of that to AI because it's super easy to do, right? Now, AI has all the context, it has all this information to go off of, and it can provide better answers because it has a ton of insight into what you're asking. So FAQs are this natural language part that help the LLMs answer the questions you are trying to answer. Okay. So And then we have security and compliance. They want to make sure that you're not a fly-by-night company, that you're going to be around because if they invest time into you to put into their platform, they want to make sure that you earn it and that you're not just going to like be gone tomorrow and make them look bad because they just spent $280 million to get you in there, right? So this is all the security stuff. And then the AI specific stuff right here. This is all specific for things that are going to help you with AI. Twitter cards. Who knows what a Twitter card is? I didn't either. Don't feel bad. We'll all learn about that a little bit later. But these things are like super important to be
Should
able to put on
know.
your sites.
They,
What?
they should know all this stuff by now because they have an AIO Dominator for the last 3 months and it's got all that stuff.
Okay, there. There you go. There you go. So these are all new things that are specific to AI right here. Embedding vector optimization. This is something we all know about, right? No, so these are all things, RAG. These are all super important things. So I'm just kind of joking around a little bit because this is all new. But these are all the things that are going to become our world for the next 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years. These are all terms and things that we're going to be. It's going to be around us for AI for the next 3, 5, 10 years, maybe forever, as long as AI is around, because this is what it holds important and that's how it functions. Monitoring and feedback. Um, so part of the user experience is allowing people to give us feedback. And there's different ways that they do that. They do that through their actions, they do that through their words, and they do that through communication. And so this covers all of those things in here. And AI looks for them, believe it or not. They look for ways that you are either publishing content on a regular basis so that it basically is a response to what they're looking for. They're looking to see if you have like a help page. And if even better, if you have a chat widget on your site, they love that kind of stuff. And then a whole bunch of other stuff in here as well. So that these are the four areas that we search on and that we can improve on our site. Now, I would venture to say that nobody's gonna get 100% on all of these, but if you're to be able to get maybe 25% of these and get close to 100, you're going to be like night and day difference better than your competition. So, and we'll talk about which ones those are. So now let's jump over to the next one right here. So basically, what do I do next? AI analysis. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to take all of our pages and we're going to look at our pages for just AI components. And so let's go ahead and go and do that. And right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kick this off because this takes about 2 or 3 minutes to get started or to finish up rather. And so you can see, I guess we only have 6 pages. It'll go pretty quick. But basically right here, you can kind of see what's happening right here. And that didn't take long at all. Boom. Um, so behind the scenes, we have what we call workers, and they can work all simultaneously. So we can do like 8 or 10 pages at a time. So they're all kind of working simultaneously to make it go a little bit faster. But even then, it still can take a while if you have like 100 pages. All right. So here, what we do is we look at the site and we look at for optimization for AI. Let's just go ahead and take a look at one of these right here. These are the things that we're looking at in depth at this point. So right now we just did some overall, like what does the website do? Now what we're doing is we're getting to the page level and we're looking at every single page because Google and AI, they focus on pages, not sites. Everybody knows that Google ranks pages. They don't rank websites, right? And so it's the same thing. And so here's your overall score, which is poor. And this is why. Here's the schema markup. Here's the semantic HTML up here. And we're not going to go over the details here, but this gives you all the different areas that need to be improved right here. Content structure, AI and LLM optimization. And then here's an implementation guide right here. So basically it says, we need to generate some schema. Let's just do one real quick. I'll show you what it looks like. So here's some schema for the page. And you can literally just copy this and put it into the header of your page, and you're good to go. Generate FAQs. All right, so it's basically coming up here and talking about FAQs for this page right here. And then it talks a few more things about like here's some references. So here's the schema.org. And I put these references down here. Also the LMS specifications down here in case you're interested in going out and learning about these as well. Because this is as much as of a educational site as it is an actionable site as well. All right, so let's go back to the AIO results and we can see that we have this score right here. Now, this is important for the results of this are important for our reports, that I'm going to show you in just a second. Now, we're going to do the same thing with the SEO side. So now we focus on only AI stuff. Now we're going to focus only on the SEO, that they work in conjunction with each other. But we scan these separately just because it's a lot of scanning to do. So we got to break it up a little bit. So I just decided to break it up into AI and SEO, although we could have intermingled them just fine. All right, so we can see right here, we're doing all of them at the same time. You can analyze them one at a time if you'd like to. But it's going here and it's analyzing each of these, and then it's going to provide a score, an SEO score, a word count for each of these right here. And so we'll start seeing these pop up in just a second. Okay, so we're starting to get one here. Here's 57. Here's a 43. Now, this is our contact page, so I'm not super worried about this. Like, whenever you look at your contact page, maybe it's a blog page, you can just ignore those because, those don't have a lot of content on there for a reason. It's purposeful. And that's why we have this ignore button out here because some of these you just don't want to optimize because you don't want to rank your contact page, right? So you in this case you would just click on ignore right here. Okay, so that finished up right here. We can see the word counts on any of these pages. And not surprising, there's only 127 words on this page versus 1,200 on collections. Not a big surprise. That's exactly how it should be. And then it'll tell you some of the suggestions, whether it's high or medium suggestions that are on here. And you can go in here and view the details, just like on the last one. This will show you all the nitty-gritty details. If you can't sleep at night, this is really good to help you. And here's all the details of what it looks like for why you got the score. And then down here, there's even more. So it basically just kind of goes down here and tells you the recommendations, the current status, so you can be aware of like why it scored you 85% or 65% on some of these different areas. All right. So let's go back to the results here. All right. So now what we've done here is we've done the initial scan. We've done all the analysis. Now we're ready for one of the most important things, which is reporting. Now, this report is broken up into three different types of reports. And this is going to be important to you because sometimes you're doing a report for yourself and you want more of an analytical report that gives you all the nitty-gritty details, right? And that would be an advanced level AIO. That's this report right here. Just click on this and it'll create it. Then there's an intermediate right here and a basic. A basic is for somebody like if you want to give this to the business owner and try to make it so that their eyes don't roll back in their head with all of the lingo. These reports right here are kind of written in human words so that they can kind of understand what's going on, right? It's still a little bit technical, but it's not much. Right here, this is made for like you and me most of the time. This is the one I kind of look at. This is for those like geeky nerds who use like multi-syllabic words for everything that they do, and they like to get into the really nitty-gritty details, right? Sometimes we'll do this for ourselves as well if we have like a certain area we're diving into. So let's go ahead and just take a look at this basic report here. I'm just going to click this. And this will take like maybe 2 minutes or so to create. So what it's doing right now is it's going out to all of our individual pages and it's taking into account all of the analysis in here and it's synthesizing it into a readable report. Now it's creating actually two reports. One of them is visual that is made to be looked at and managed on the screen because it's an actionable report. And I'll show you why I say that. And then at the very end, there's a PDF report that's made to be sent via email to like somebody who pays you to do their optimization so you can give them updates. So when this is done, both of those reports will be done on that. So I'll just give it one more second. Should be done in any second.
If you guys haven't got the picture here, this is not just a report. This is a full education. This is
Yeah.
like education into SEO. It's all the stuff that I used to teach in the SEO Dominator courses.
All right, it just finished. So let's go ahead and take a look at the report here and what it came up with. All right, so this is what the report looks like. You can see how long ago it was generated. So sometimes if it's like been 2 weeks, you might want to rerun another one, that kind of thing. If it's been a month, actually 2 weeks really isn't that long. But maybe if it's been like a month or two, you're like, let's refresh this. You can go back and run another one kind of thing. Now, the way that this report is set is right here, which is here's an explanation of how to use the report. So that's the very first thing, which is what is it and how do I use it, right? So I'll let you guys read that at some time. But basically, it just kind of says it's broken into 5 categories. You'll notice that we use those same 5 categories all the way through for consistency so that we can focus on that. And then, of course, not surprisingly, we report on those 5 categories as well. And this is the overall website optimization right here. So we basically talk about what we're trying to do for the website. So this report is talking about what our goals and our strategies are to help. And so basically, this is very good for a business owner to read right here. You can see that it's written in like very normal words, right? How quickly pages load, how to adjust for different screen sizes. You'll create a faster, more reliable website experience that works well for both human visitors and the digital assistants that increasingly help people to find information online. So very easy to understand. And so this is intended to be for um, for those people who are, business owners that don't need to know this stuff. They're curious for a short period of time so they can understand. And then as soon as you hang up with them, they forget it. They just purge that and they're off to like, you know, serving their customers and clients and patients. Right here is your LMS.txt file. So right here you can see this is what an LLMS text file looks like if you haven't seen one before. But basically it talks all about the domain, how many pages are on it, the last time that any of the pages were updated, the site structure, so it basically gives them the whole site in a nutshell. It gives them all the stuff about, here's the main topics right here, services offered, and here's some AI instructions for crawlers. So this is specifically for the AI crawlers that come about. Here's the content guidelines right here. Here's the key points, some content restrictions right here. Provide factual information about the website, and then where it came from right here. All right, and so you can copy this to the clipboard or you can download it right here so you can see a lot of there's actionable things in here so you can take this and use it. I'm going to show you in a minute how you use this right here. Here's the schema. It just basically goes to the schema page because this is where we get our schema from. We're gonna look at that in just a minute. So we have the schema and the FAQ. So we create all these for your entire site. And then we have basically this is more of an in-depth step-by-step process for when we're actually doing stuff to fix the website. So let's look at the largest contentful paint right here. Why do I need this? How can I implement or fix this? And then how do I know if it's working? These are the 3 questions that every single item that's on here has. And so basically it talks about, why do we need it? How do I fix it? And how do I know when it's fixed right here? Breadcrumbs navigation. This is the why, this is the how, and this is the how do we know if it's working right here when we know if we're done. Okay. And so it just kind of goes through each of these things right here. See, there's lots of failures on here. There's lots of chance for improvement for sure. At the end of the day, you're going to see more green than red when you're done with this site. Now, you won't see no red. Every site's going to still have a little bit of red on here, and it's purposeful. You'll make some decisions on what is the most important use of your time and how much money did they pay you to optimize it. So you want to get as much down as you can for the money involved. And even if it's your own site, what is the amount of time that you're going to spend on the site, and is it really going to make that big of a difference? So some of these you're just going to say, you know what, that makes like a 0.01% difference. I'm not going to do it.
Allie really appreciates this, Chris. She said it's so clear, even I get it, and she's like not very techy. So
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
you guys have no idea how much effort and work that Chris has put together behind the scenes to do all of this. This is an enormous amount of work in this project. So
So yeah, thank you, John. And all right, so it just kind of goes on here, and we're not going to get into it too much, but you can see they're all in the same categories right here. And then here's the best part right here. See this executive summary report? I'm just going to download this real quick because it's based off of this report, but it's even more of a simplified report. Let me save this and then open it. Okay, so right here, this right here, there's supposed to be an image right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to allow you to choose which image goes there. So I'm in the process right now of swapping that out. Right now, there's like somebody who was like touching a screen. It was just like, we've all seen those pictures before. But I'm going to allow you to choose either the default one that goes on here, which will be very nice, or it has enough room right here. But it's basically who was prepared for and by who. And you can see it was prepared by Traffic Oxygen, not Optimizer. And we'll talk about that in a second. So this is important. This is all the white labeling that's starting to surface. Now we have the table of contents right here. We have an executive overview. Here's the general performance summary. This is where you tell them how terrible their site is. And then here is all of, here's like all the things that the scope of what we did. We, scanned and analyzed all these factors right here. And here's the results. There's nothing to click on. There's nothing to learn about. There's just a bunch of stuff in here with the results. And so basically, this is going to be kind of like your scorecard to improve these things. And so as you improve it, you're going to start seeing more green instead of yellow and red. Now, here's the most important thing for them. What is the business impact by having all this red and yellow on the page? Implementing Traffic Oxygen's recommendations, again, not Optimancer, it's Traffic Oxygen, right? Um, it will significantly enhance visibility, discoverability, all this kind of stuff right here. It will appear in AI-powered search results, revenue growth because of discovery, entirely new traffic channel with high intent visitors, and authoritative source in your industry, right? Here's the competitive urgency right here. Get it done before your competitors do, and you'll win. You'll get out in front of the race. There's very few times when we do this, when you can get out in front of your competitors and have an unfair advantage. I can tell you, I worked for some of the largest companies in the United States. They don't know how to do this stuff yet. That's why they hire me. And I'm not that smart. So they're looking for people, anybody who can figure this stuff out. And so if you can step out and get them in front of their competitors, you'll be a hero. Um, Highest priority deficiencies, resource requirements right here. And then how long is it going to take? How long, what is it going to take to know that if we're done or not? Like, what is our success criteria? And what is your return on investment? And you notice that the white label is all the way through. So let's jump back into the white label because I want to show you that real quick. It's pretty cool. Any questions on the report before we leave the report?
yeah, we have a lot of people that are interested in the white label because
Yeah,
there's a lot that either want to start agencies or are currently running agencies.
yeah, that's right.
This is
Um,
probably the easiest way to get a client by generating one of these white label reports and just giving it to a prospect and just tell them, hey, we ran this for you as a courtesy. We would recommend you give this to your webmaster and have them fix this stuff.
mhm.
And 9 out of 10 are going to say, well, could you just do it for me? And now you got a client just like that.
All right, so let's jump over here. Now, in your profile, let's just go through some settings here, and then we'll finish off on two things and we'll be done. Up here, there's just basically, who are you? Are you associated with a company? Oh yeah, I'm associated with this company. So you've seen this already, right? So this is where you put in your company name and bio. And so this one says, tell us a little bit about your company, which may be used in your executive reporting, which is what we just saw, right? Preferences, like what time zone you in, things like that, and notifications. Like for instance, if John is spamming you too much, you can say, I don't want this weekly report. So this just gives you a little bit of control over, like how we contact you, and if we're contacting you too much, you have control over stopping that. The next part right here is account settings. And here is where some really important things are. Here's some basic general settings right here. Security. If you need to change your password, this is where you're going to change your password right here. And you'll notice we don't ask for your previous password. That's one of my biggest pet peeves because I'm changing my password because I probably can't remember what it was in the first place, right? So, login notifications. If you're able to invite team members, we're going to show you in a second. And many of us work in teams. Like we have like a business partner or somebody else that we go back and forth with. You can invite your team members to be able to share these with as well. And if you want to see if they're logging in or not, like if they're an employee, you want to see if they're logging in, you can get a notification in here if they do that right there. Now here's the white label. So we'll stop on here and we can talk about the other stuff later. Here's the white label URL. So this is just a quick reminder like, hey, when I log in, I want to go to optimize.trafficoxygen.com. Let me show you what it looks like. Looks oddly the same, except for it has your logo at the top right here, right? And it has you. You'll notice that it doesn't have anything in here about Optimizer, right? And so when you're in here, then in fact, let's just go ahead and I'm not going to log in right here. So basically here's the logo, here's the company name for it to use. Here's the how you configured your domain. So I wanted optimize, you might want AIO, you might want AI. You may want whatever it is, and you can put it on in front of your own domain. So it becomes optimize.trafficoxygen.com. In your case, it may be ai.imwildgrace.com, right? And then setting up a DNS record. So it shows you how to do this right here. If you don't know how to do this yourself, this is what you would send over to your webmaster, and they know how to do all this stuff. And then here's some exact examples how to do it on GoDaddy, Namecheap, HostGator, and Cloudflare. Those are like the four biggest ones that are out there. And all the other ones kind of follow the same suit here. So these kind of cover everybody because everybody does it in one of these four ways. And then we build you a special certificate to lock down this website right here. So we build you an SSL cert, no cost, to be able to do that. And you can see right here, it even keeps track of how many days remaining on this certificate, but you don't have to worry about it because when it gets down to 1 day, it just re-ups it on its own. So that basically this is a lifetime certificate right here. And then this is basically how you set up your white label. And then all the way through, your logo shows up here just like this. So instead of the Optimancer logo and stuff, which we think is really pretty, you probably think that your logo is prettier. And so we let you do that. API and integrations right here. You're going to have an API for every single website that you have here. And let's talk about that. So what I'm going to do is I've just logged into Legacy Pest Control AZ. This is my pest control exterminator. And so after we were talking one day in the backyard, they said, "Yeah, I need you to they hired me to do their SEO, right?" And so they're the first ones to get this on their website, actually. And what we did is we just installed a plugin. You guys will all have access to this plugin. It's a WordPress plugin. And what it does is it goes out to the website and it pulls in all the FAQs that we're going to generate in just a minute, all the schema, and it places it on their website all at the same time.
Well,
So you don't have to do any of this stuff.
this is the part here you guys should be most excited about. Because as cool as the report is, this actually implements the stuff so you don't have to do it.
Fabulous.
I'm on that, baby.
Pretty sick, right?
That's
So
amazing.
we've done
Wow.
a couple of things in here too to make it even better because sometimes you don't want an FAQ section on certain pages. For instance, this is their blog page. This is just like a list of all the blogs there. You don't want an FAQ on that page. It doesn't belong there, right? So here, let me show you how easy it is. So basically, you just click it, and it'll come back to a blue right here where it says no FAQ. And so like I found this and I'm like, I don't want to blog there. So you just click it right here and it goes out there and it does all the stuff behind the scenes and then it turns red to let you know that it's done. Now the FAQs are not going to show on that page. And you can also not put schema on pages too. Like for instance, I don't know what pages you wouldn't want schema on, but if there are some, don't put it on there, right? So you can do the same thing with the schema. You can open the page right here. It'll open up in a new window. You can open it from right here as well. This is so you can see what the schema looks like in case you just want to peek at it. So it's just a quick glance without having to look anywhere else. And this is what the FAQs are for the page. And so basically, yeah, that's how we get it all on the page. I can't show you what it looks like because we are like one day out from finishing this. And but basically the way that it's set is that the schema will show up at the very bottom of every page. So right above the footer is where you're going to see the FAQs. So it's going to be at the very bottom. Then the schema shows up just before the header, the closing header tag. And so basically that schema is like nobody sees it anyway. It's just for the robots behind the scenes, right? So it's just like you won't see it on the website. The only thing you'll see is the FAQs. And then you can and then if they remove you as a client, their website goes back to nothing. It's all gone and they will tank. So kind of guarantees that you're going to stick around a while, right?
Guarantees they keep paying you.
Yeah.
When you say it goes away, where is it that you shut that off at?
You shut it off right here in your back end.
Okay.
You literally just change, you regenerate your API key, and all of a sudden it has nothing to go get it from, and it just disappears.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah, good question though. And we do that first of all, we can't really help it. We didn't really do it on purpose because it's so easy to put in, it's easy to take out. That's the bottom line. So, if they're not paying you, take it out because obviously they didn't find value in what you're doing. So then, you know,
Well,
they're back
Chris,
to
I see you've done a lot of work on this. Questions that's been in my mind for a few days here now is, this will generate FAQs. How do you handle a situation where the company's website already has FAQs? Do you combine
That's a
those
great
in?
question. If they have FAQs already, then you just say no FAQs here because they've already taken care of it.
Okay.
Now, nobody has FAQs on every page. At least none of them that I haven't gotten a hold of yet because I put FAQs on every page. And I do that because people love that stuff. I mean, even on products, like I'm working with this manufacturer to kind of do this right here. That manufacturer, it's like their products are very technical in nature. They're these specialized valves that are made for like marine use, like these big ships and like big like tankers and stuff like that. They have like these really complicated valves that they use for that kind of stuff. And these FAQs answer a lot of the technical questions about those. And so it's super helpful for them.
Another
So,
another thing too, Daryl, it doesn't hurt to append a page with more FAQs.
mhm.
Like your client might have made some crappy FAQs. This is going in and it's basically analyzing that page and figuring out what the FAQs should be. And it's
That's what I was
generating.
kind of wondering, whether we copy theirs, run the report, and then add theirs in manually.
Well,
Yeah.
I would take a look at theirs and see if theirs match anywhere close to what these are. And if they do, then just go ahead and disable it.
Mhm.
They've got it handled. But if their FAQs are just kind of, off the obscure chart, then you might want to add these in just to help them out. But it
Or
gives you.
maybe they missed a bunch of them that they should have put on there. So sometimes
Mhm.
theirs are good and yours are good, and together it's great.
Yeah,
That's
right.
more likely the case.
That's why I'm wondering, how do you combine the two? Not whether it's this one or that one. How do you combine the two?
It's not a
Exactly.
Or
combination.
don't you?
It's theirs and then yours are appended
Mhm.
at the bottom.
Now, what I just did right here is I'm just going to generate all the FAQs at a time, one or all at the same time. And that's what you're going to want to do if you're going to use the WordPress plugin. Like I can't use the WordPress plugin because they use Drupal. So I have to implement this one page at a time, which is a huge motivation for me to do the WordPress one, right? So I never have to do that again. So what I do is I generate these one at a time as I go through there, and that helps me like a checklist. of when I'm done with it so that I don't have to go back to that page. So I'm implementing these one at a time. And it's really not that bad because I've automated some stuff on here too for Drupal, but it's more work than just like lighting up a plugin. All right, so the FAQs are done now. Now let me show you a few things about this. Now, the first thing is that the FAQs, or let me show you what the FAQs look like first. They look like this, relatively, right? So basically, it looks like this. It has a purple Q and a green answer. So the question is purple and this is green, right? This is kind of like the default. And the reason why is because it just detects what this website looks like and it kind of matches it. But if you go up here to the top, you can change all this so that when it gets produced, maybe you want, like for instance, we have one, or the one that I'm doing is like their colors are red and white. So here we go. Now we have red up here, and the answer is going to be, I'm going to make this one black, or maybe like a dark gray. So now we can save this right here, save the preferences, but you can do a lot of things. This is the question styling. This is the background color of the question, the text color, the hover background color, the font weight, size, padding. There's probably not a whole lot more you would need to do here to make it really fit the site because we really want to make it look like it's part of the website and not like something that's bolted on there, right? So this gives you a lot of really good granular control over what it looks like, even like the fonts and the font sizes and the weights of it, all that kind of stuff. And so here's the container layout. So what does the container look like that it's housed in? Does it look like the page? If not, we need to change it up a little bit here, right? And then FAQ settings right here, like do you not want to have or do you want to have at least 3 FAQs per page? Or is just one okay? Maybe one's okay. So you would just change this to one. Maximum number, you don't want to have 10 pages of FAQs, right? So you can say, once we hit around 12 or 15, we're kind of maxed out here. We don't really need more than that. I put 15 here because that's on the high side, but you can bring this down if you want to. And this is a preview of what it's going to look like with your styling that you put up here, just so you can take a quick glance on what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and save these preferences right here. And then what we can do here is we can take these FAQs and we can mark this as complete. Now, when we do this mark as complete right here, this means that we have put it on the page complete. So right now, all of these are in what's called pending mode, which means they're created and we're waiting to put it on the website. So at this point, we can say if we're doing it like, remember, I built this because I'm doing like 200 pages, right? I built this so that I can mark it as complete on here. And this is great for larger pages, and it's actually great for some smaller sites too, in case you have to leave in the middle because your kids are fighting and you need to go break it up before blood hits the ground. Or maybe it's dinner time or whatever. We all have life, right? You can just like confidently just like get up and walk out and know that you're going to come back and you're just right on the place where you left off. So that is the FAQs. Let's look at the schema here real quick. Any questions about the schema? I'm sorry, about the FAQs, by the way.
Yeah, can you hear me by the way?
Yep, can hear you.
Yeah, thanks. How does the FAQs improve or relate to AIO and
Ah,
provide site advantages, so they want to keep it, so they don't cancel the monthly and all that.
okay, great. So basically the FAQs are fundamentally, they're for people. So that's where we start. We build FAQs because people ingest and they love FAQs. And it's the same reason that a lot of people like to have group discussions or that they like to have like webinars where everybody's in because people ask good questions that they may have like been thinking or they couldn't formulate the words to really do that or they just didn't even think about that aspect yet, but they benefit from other people asking questions. And that's what FAQs are for, to answer questions that most people are going to have. And if they don't have those questions, they should have those questions. And then for the AI part, that is how AI learns about you, about your products, about your services, all that kind of stuff. So you're training the AI with natural language processes. So you're asking the question and giving the answer. So it's basically setting them up for success. if they were to say, hey, this, like for instance, if I say, hey, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, in this zip code, what is the best family dentist near me? And then it's going to go out there and it's going to look for family dentist, right? Because that's what I asked it to do. And so then they're going to come back with suggestions the best that they can. And when that dentist has given them all that information to say, we specialize in family dentistry versus, hey, no, we do braces or something like that, right? Then it's going to suggest then, and then the AI is going to know that these suggestions are going to be valid and it's going to give the person a good experience. Does that make sense?
Yep, thanks.
Okay. All right, almost done here, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. We already looked at the LMS.text, right? I think we already did.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all done here. Now let's see what it looks like with schema. So here's what the schema looks like right here. We've already kind of looked at this before. And then we can mark this as complete right here. We can copy the schema, or we can ignore this because sometimes we don't need schema on the particular side. Um, but this is where I'm just going to go ahead and mark this as complete right here. Then we can see that this one that it's marked as completed now, and so it'll just tell you how many we have completed, so we can kind of keep track of it that way.
So
And then the
the
schema
reason,
is basically what goes up on the site.
yeah, the reason that there's a copy button there versus the WordPress plugin is if you've got a site like Russ has Shopify,
Hmm.
and he was asking, does this work for Shopify? The answer is yes, this works for any site. You don't have to have WordPress. You can run the report, you can generate all the stuff, and then you can hand paste it into whatever site you've got. But if
Right.
you do have WordPress, we've got the easy button for you.
Yeah. This is for everything else. This is what I use every day, actually. So the website that I built this for is called Drupal. That's like the framework. So I copy and I paste it into a special process that I built into Drupal. So I copy paste, copy paste, copy paste for with both the FAQs and the schema to implement it on their pages. So yeah, so this is for a non-WordPress site. And then that's it. So basically, we've gone through the whole thing. This is like everything that could be done is done now for AI. We've done the scanning, we've analyzed it all, we built the reports so we can show that to we can use it for ourselves, for our clients, that kind of a thing. And then we have the FAQ and schema generator, so we can go out there and actually do the work and get that done. Now, we mentioned before we can invite people in. Sometimes we want to invite in webmasters of their website so that they can get in here and they can do this work and they can be accountable for it. That's one reason to invite people in. Another one is maybe business partners or somebody or maybe even the client themselves if they want to if you think that that's important. That's another reason why we white labeled it so that you could go in there and it looks all like your webs like this is you. It has your URL at the top. It's got your logo. It's got all your branding, all that stuff, right?
You could charge them one price if they're just going to use your system to do the
Mhm.
work. You could charge them another price if you're going to do the work for them.
Yeah. Now, when I say invite your client in, it's not necessarily to do the work, and that would be an odd thing. Really, you invite your client in so they can look at the reports. Is mostly what they would be interested in, so they can see the progress on the FAQs being implemented, the schema being implemented, and the reporting. So this is really where your clients would be. I really wouldn't recommend it because
Chris,
they're
is
busy
there a
running
way
with
to
us.
generate the report and just send the report to them
Yeah.
so that they don't have to get into this back end and mess things up?
Yeah, that's exactly what those reports were that, here, let me see if I still have it up. Yeah, this executive report is exactly for that. So you could just send the PDF file in an email. The rest of the reports, like the nice, pretty report that has like all the sections, that's for when you're with them and you're reviewing it. And then this is the leave behind. And the leave behind, you don't want to give them too much information because it's like they don't know what to do with it in the first place. It's basically just like a score. It's like a report card that your kids bring home from school.
Can
All
you disable the schema as well as the how you disable the FAQ?
Yes. Same way. Yep. So basically you can say no schema or no FAQ.
In the case where they're not using a WordPress site, though, you're actually giving them the code, though, or are you giving them
Yeah,
an
you'll give it to
interface?
them, and then they can choose which pages to put that on and which ones not to. Because if they're doing it manually, they're just doing it themselves, and they can make that choice along the way.
What if they update the code that we give them, but then stop paying for the service?
Okay, so here's what it is. So basically, what you gave them is a snapshot in time. What happens when the LLMs change tomorrow and the next day? So basically, one of the values of the software right here is that monthly we'll go out there and we'll pull in another version of the website and then we'll rescan it. So if they've added pages, if they've made updates and changes, things like that on their side, we can come in here and we can stay on top of that for them. They won't have to be careful. They can just do their website stuff, right? And then each month we'll go back and we'll reevaluate it. But when we reevaluate it, we're going to do it with the latest algorithms, the latest techniques and strategies, what the LLMs are used for, all the improvements that we're finding along the way, because this is a learning and growing process where even LLMs, they don't know what they're doing a lot of the time. They have a pretty good idea, but they're changing all the time too, because they're like, oh, this is actually something that we could really use, right? And then they'll bring this in, and all of a sudden, it's the most important thing all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden, they're missing the most important thing because they ditched you. Too bad for them. So they're back at the bottom of the heap. So that's one of the things that you need to emphasize, which is this is as good as it is now. Tomorrow it's going to be different, and we'll adjust it tomorrow too.
Or you give them the idea websites change, ladies and gentlemen. If you stay
Yeah,
with us, we can stay on top of that.
yeah, that's right. So you're
Yeah.
basically just monitoring that for them on a regular basis.
So if they don't pay you, does it actually remove the plugin from their WordPress site?
Yeah, so basically it'll disable it. So basically when it goes back to in fact there's a disable mode on there that we can push the change to the website because I have it automatically check all the time and it says, "Hey, is it disabled?" If so, it just goes beep, turns off. Because we store the content on their website and then beep, it just deletes all of it off their website.
And is that linked, Chris, to the payment section so that you don't have to check each and every client every
Yeah,
day?
yeah,
You
yeah.
guys have thought of everything.
So, and remember, this is just where we're starting. I mean, this is you're the first people to see my software. Like literally, you're the first people to see it. So this is where we start, and it's just going to get better from here. We have all kinds of stuff that we have planned out and stuff that we're going to be putting in here. It's going to make your lives easier and it's going to be more powerful. The reports are going to get better, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Hey, Chris, if there's already schema on the site, do you have to go delete it first or does it override it?
It'll add to it because there's no reason not to have both schemas. It doesn't hurt a thing. So if they do have schema on there, and maybe it's not that great, you can append it. Sometimes you may want to replace it if it's just not good at all. Like if it's automatically being added by some kind of a software package, sometimes you have control over that, sometimes you don't. But it doesn't hurt to have both of them up there.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Good to see you, Bradley, by the way. Hmm?
John, I was going to ask you on this is with this here, will this here replace the current AIO that you have, or are you going to come up with a combination that works the two of them together?
Well, the current one, the AIO Dominator, that one does a whole bunch of other stuff. That
Hmm.
does the EEAT, that does a lot of content generation. So they'll work together. It's not like it's one or the other. You could have one or the other. It's kind of like good, better, best. If you want the best of the optimization tools, then you would want everything you can get a hold of.
Well,
So
the special people like us, all of us in this room, we're the special people. We want a combination of both. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Honestly, it's going to take a combination to get everything done.
I'm gonna be doing a lot more training on this, which I wasn't really looking forward to. I had this conversation just a
I
few weeks ago. I'm like, God damn it, I'm gonna have to come back and
have to work.
yeah, work again. But we have a membership site and we're changing the membership site. It used to be, it was for Site Pop. And we kind of pushed all of our SEO training into that membership site. But what I'm going to do, I'm rebranding the membership site to Rainmaker. And Rainmaker will cover Site Pop, it'll cover Optimancer, it'll cover the AIO Dominator, and anything related to the traffic stuff. Anything related to optimization will be under the Rainmaker umbrella. And then we'll have all the different products in there. But Chris and I are going to be doing a lot of training. It's all going to be in there in the membership area for you, whether you have one product, two, or all of them. You'll get access to the training. And another thing I'm going to add in too, I think we're probably going to set up some kind of a mastermind group for the agencies. This will just be for the agencies, the ones that want to resell, because there's a whole world around that. And when I say a whole world around that, there's a lot of tactics and techniques to allow you to sell stuff like grease lightning. And a lot of people struggle with that. There's a lot of agencies that they tend to get in their own way on selling stuff. They overcomplicate it. So I'm going to be going through and helping you guys actually figure out the easiest, fastest way to sell this stuff and build a six-figure agency in a very short time frame if you want to do that. If you don't, great, just get the basic one and use it on your site. You'll get access to all the training. But the people that want to run an agency and want to use this, there's a huge advantage right now. This is like turning the clock back. Like if I could go back in time to 1995 when Chris and I were just figuring out SEO in the early days, and take the knowledge of 30 years of experience and drop it on top of us back then, we probably wouldn't be here right now. We'd be long gone. So this is your opportunity to have that advantage because we literally are back in 1995 right now. This is a whole new world that's opening up in front of us, and we do have the knowledge from the past 30 years. And that we can impart on you and give that to you. So you should really think about taking advantage of this as an opportunity to make money in this industry.
And another thing right now too, which is really unique, I challenge you, go out and find somebody who's doing this right now.
Yeah.
Their software doesn't exist to do this right now. I think we might be first to market for AI optimization. We won't be the last. There's going to be people, you're going to start seeing them pepper up, right? But right now, people are asking for this service a lot because they know they need to do it and they don't know anybody who knows how to do it. So you could be that person where you can say, hey, we specialize in this and we have special software to manage it and do all that stuff. So this is a great opportunity to go out there. And we're talking like small and big sites. I mean, like I pulled up a big corporate site and I don't mind telling you, they paid me $60,000 to optimize their site. That's not even writing content. That's just what you saw here, just put FAQs and schema on their site. So I mean, the money's out there and the companies are hungry for it.
Yeah, especially the bigger manufacturers. Those guys, that's where I made all my money. I think, same with you, Chris. We made our money on manufacturers. We didn't make it on local businesses.
Yeah, yeah. They have money to spend.
We made it
They
on
allocate it.
people. Yeah, we made it on people that make big money and spend big money. So, Gregory, go ahead. You had a question?
Yes, a selling point. Last night I was at a gala, a lot of big money of Long Beach, and back to your rule. Talk to the owners between the $2 and $10 million, and that room was full, just absolutely full. I'm gonna have to find a way of joining that group and as a member somehow. But anyway, the bottom line is a selling point that comes across my mind. Chris, has this been copyrighted? Is this a copyrightable program? Because you wrote this. This is original. And I said, and next week I'm meeting with a lawyer about AI copywriting because people keep asking, if I create something and I use AI, is it mine or is it the world?
Right. That's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't even know if the lawyers know that yet, but there's going to start being cases where it's going to be challenged in court. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's all really still developing, what the
Yeah.
rules of the
But
road
And
how
are.
about this, sir?
honestly,
How about
this
the
could be
analyzer?
copyrightable because
Did you copyright this already? Well, you
um,
essentially copyrighted is implemented when you publish something the first time and it goes public. That's an implied copyright. Therefore, it gives you first to market. You said it. It's first to market.
it is.
Then doing official copyright with Washington, now it protects this program from infringement for the next whatever the lifetime is for copyright material. But my
Hmm.
question still is, have you gone that far or not yet?
I haven't yet, but I'd be interested. I mean, I personally wrote every line of code in this software. It's not like I took somebody else's software and like repurposed it or anything like that. Like from scratch, I wrote this from the very first line of code. And so I'd be very interested in learning more about that.
The reason I bring it up is because it becomes a selling point when
Hmm.
you go to go say, well, I can get this from anybody. Oh,
Yeah.
you're welcome, go for it. But this is copyrighted, and that becomes a selling point, and it also gives them a surety that having been that process in the and I guess John would have to validate this. But business mind people that I run into, they ask if it's been patented, is it been copyrighted, is this protected? Because when they get this information, and now it becomes part of their way of upping their business, and if I run into a person who wants to become a reseller, it becomes an additional selling point to them if they want to become resellers also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gregory, I think you're chasing ghosts with that though. 'Cause
Okay, go ahead
I've
for it.
I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I've never had anybody ask me if the stuff I'm using is patented. All they care about is it going to work for me? So this is something that I'm going to really focus on in the business training is beware of ghosts. Like in the past, I've trained a lot of resellers, and I've had a handful of them that made an absolute shitload of money, and they're still making it. And I've had some that never got off the ground because they chased ghosts. And every time I turned around, they're like, well, what if this? What if that? And I'm like, just sell the thing. It's like when you're selling it to somebody, like you're not selling them the software. They're not buying the technology outright. That is where that would become an important thing. Like if they're going to give you $1 billion for it, yeah, they're going to want to know that it's theirs and it's protected. But this is just a service, and the fact that we have it first gives us such a huge advantage that's not going to last forever. Like Chris said, we are first to market with this, but we won't be the last. Like I just sat 3 days in Perry Belcher's AEO training, and they're trying to form a whole industry around AEO. And I think they're going to have trouble with that nomenclature because it's AIO. It's AI optimization. But anyway, they're trying to put their name on it. And I don't blame them. If they can, more power to them. But the fact is, they is far out ahead as Perry always is. He's nowhere close to where we are with this. He's got some of the
And
stuff.
he knows us well.
Yeah,
Perry, we all go back far with Perry.
yeah. When
He's awesome.
at his event, I kind of alluded to this at his event a couple months ago in San Diego, and like his ears went like up. His radar was on fire when I told him, what we were up to. But yeah, I spent 3 days with them, and they're doing a lot of really good stuff, but they don't have it figured out yet, and they even say that. And that this I think is just going to give everyone here such a huge advantage. But again, like Chris said, this isn't going to last forever. If you guys want to get your feet in and get a solid foundation, You should be selling these clients right now. You shouldn't be waiting. You should be accumulating as many as you can as fast as you can. Because once they're with you, it's hard for someone else to take them away. But once they're with someone else, it's going to be really hard for you to take them away. So it's just like it's in the beginning when I was building websites and getting hosting customers, whoever gets the hosting customer controls the entire experience. That's been the case. They look to you for everything. So if you can sway them away and get them looking to you for the answers, you're going to be able to sell them all kinds of products and services along the way, even if it's not yours, even if it's affiliate offers to other people's stuff. You're going to be able to control that experience and make a ton of money. Aaron, go ahead.
Did I miss like how to access this and what the cost is? And
We're,
you
we're
were
almost there. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
why don't we? That's a good question, Aaron. Let's jump right into it because I know we're all busy and we got to jump off on other stuff.
all right. Do you have the link for the Black Friday
I
page?
do. Let me put that into the chat window here.
Figure since you got the screen share going, you might as well fire it up. Russ, go ahead.
So this is our Black Friday special. We thought we would just offer this to you guys early Black Friday. This is Gray Friday.
This isn't actually the Black Friday pricing though.
Yeah. This it has the Black Friday offer on here, but
Oh, refresh that.
oh, refresh it. Okay. Oh, you put the girl up there too. Okay, cool.
There you go. Now we got the Black.
Now we got the right one. All right.
And by the way, Chris was talking about the logo being cool. That logo was made with Quantum, and so was the header. That header, I just made that this morning with Quantum. That's a hero image. So
Pretty cool.
use Quantum to just create stuff out of thin air. But these are the prices. If you guys get in on this, you're understanding this is a beta launch. You guys are really going to be our beta testers. And the fact is you get to lock in that price for life. So that's a huge advantage for you guys here to do this. And anything else? Anything else, Chris?
I think that's about it. I mean, we're gonna have more meetings like this too, so we don't have to cover everything right now. We'll
Yeah.
be back together again in a week or so.
Yeah, we'll start the training up here pretty quick.
Hey,
Russ.
Chris, before you disappear, yesterday on Parry's AEO thing that John was referring to, he was talking about content posts and the importance of having the schema on those.
Yeah.
Um, what's your thoughts on that? And is there different posts for SEO and for AEO?
No, they're both synonymous. The schema that you would use for one is the if you use the AI schema, it covers SEO. If you use SEO schema, it doesn't cover all of the AI. But it's because the AI stuff is backwards compatible and it has extra stuff on it. So I'd recommend kind of using the AI schema and then it just covers both. But I totally agree with that. Good content. In fact, we should have a whole training on what good content means because it's not the same as the previous SEO good content. It's different now. It's
That
better.
would be helpful. Yeah, that would
It's
be
better. It's
helpful.
better for humans and it's better for the AI search engines because AI is 100% focused on the quality of the content.
Is it true the order of the content also is looking for the answer first?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yep. So it's basically that's the way that you write. It's almost like English. Like English is all backwards. I'll give you one example and then we can move on. It's like we use all of the adjectives first before we describe what we're doing. It's like every other language in the world says, "Hey, I'm talking about an elephant, and the elephant is gray and it's large." We say a big gray, and then you're like, "What are we talking about?" You know what I mean? And so that's kind of how we write too. We like talk all about this stuff, and we're like, "Oh yeah, we're talking about plumbers." Oh, Okay, well, I wasn't really interested in plumbers, but that's fine, right? So it's like that's what it is this is how AI works, is like the rest of the world's and how our brains work, which is what are we talking about? And that's the answer to the question, and then we can describe what it is, how we got to that point. It's real common sense.
Like Spanish, for instance, and you'll have to excuse my poor Spanish, but burrito grande. It says it's a burrito and it's a
Mhm.
big ass burrito. All right, Arba, go ahead.
Yeah, first I just wanted to confirm exactly what you were saying about just do it. And I have a large client base of websites that it just happened. I've been building websites since the 90s.
Yeah.
And I mean, back when Front Page, Dreamweaver, I
Oh,
wasn't.
you've been around a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been at it for
Okay.
a while to even know those. But let me tell you though, I did not use Front Page, Dreamweaver, and none of that. I
Yeah.
came about right when the first no code kind of websites came about. So I jumped on that bandwagon because I was like, I'm not trying to do all that code, you know. And it ended up that I'm successful with that. And to confirm what John was saying, I've got clients that have been with me since 2000 because they're just like, and not just websites, but they're asking me, Arba, can you do this? Arba, can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? So yeah, I'm just encouraging anyone, if don't wait until you figure it out, because I honestly have not figured out everything you talking about, but I'm gonna jump on it. Um, but the second, so I just want to confirm, does one project mean one website?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically when we're working on a project, that's everything that has to do with that URL for that project.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Now, a
the
company may have several URLs. Like larger companies do have like sister companies, or they have complementary websites that cover other aspects, like maybe a service part of their company versus a product. And so each one of those would be covered separately because it's a whole different focus, and it's a different thing that they're doing entirely. So that would be
Well,
two different products.
okay, so now I am confused. Then does that, okay, if I only have one website, can I use this for to do reports for my several customer websites? Or are you saying I have to have like an agency level if
yeah,
I have multiple
Yeah, if
customers?
you have multiple, because this right here is usually just for a single business right here. That's just if like somebody wants to do it for themselves. And then this one right here is like if you have you and a couple of clients, and then this is more for the agency where you've got, a bunch of them that you're doing kind of thing.
What happens when you exceed 20 clients?
You can just add more one by one. So by the time you get there, we're just going to have a one-off where you can just say, "Hey, I have five more clients." You just add five. They're all going to be like, $10 a piece or something like that. It's not going
And
to be
does the
expensive.
agency include, I see it down the thing, does the agency include white label?
Yes, yeah. In fact, that's the only place you can get white label is under agency.
That's
It's not going to be available for pro or business.
You can run unlimited reports, so for sales through
Unlimited
a company.
reports. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So with the agency, that's under $7 a piece per month.
yeah.
So it's pretty inexpensive. And just like the way we did this with Site Pop and all the stuff we've done in the past, everything I've ever made available to agency level people, we let you make the lion's share of the money. We're just making it up by volume. So we want you to sell a bunch of these things. So we're going to do our best to make sure that you're successful. Like if you got into this and you were an agency and you only sold 20, I'd be disappointed. I would be very disappointed. This just gives you a level where you can get started. You can get started without killing yourself with overhead. Like basically, if you get one customer, you should be paying for your agency.
Well, there's another interesting there for some people who might be thinking this. If someone grabs the Pro and then they go, oh, well, I got the 5, can they upgrade
Yeah.
Easily. Okay.
Yeah, you can just add
Address
more. You
that,
can
guys.
keep the pro right here and you can just add more on. The problem is if you add enough on where it equals agency, then you're missing out on the white label. But
What I
we'll
mean is,
upgrade you as well.
well,
Like,
that's what I'm asking, because
yeah,
some people are going to go. Should I start with the pro and upgrade to agency later?
yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah, and as far as this pricing here is basically what we're going to roll out for our Black Friday specials. And you guys are just getting access to it before everyone else.
Yeah,
That's
so if you were to upgrade, say, say in January or something like that, it's going to be 497. So when you're to upgrade, it would be a 77 to 497 jump. It's a big jump right there versus 77 to 127 during the Black Friday process. Because we're going to have Black Friday open until when, John? Probably end of the year, right?
yeah, I would say through the end of the year. So,
Yeah. So you're good until the end of the year.
yeah, you could start off right now with just the one or the five, play around with it, and just make sure you upgrade before we change the pricing. And we'll keep you locked in at whatever level you get in on. Because I
But you
really
got a
want,
good solid 2 months in there.
yeah, I mean, you guys are my core group here that I have always taken care of, and I always will take care of you. But this is very soon going to roll outside this little pod here, and it's going to go fast. So, all right, Ben, go ahead.
Hey, when we're prospecting and like if we're going after dentists or something and just running reports on existing websites, are we able to do that with any of the versions?
Oh, yeah. Actually, we have a whole, in fact, I didn't go over it, but let me see here. We have a
Because
whole section where you
I
can
think the
go after your
business
competitors.
I think
And
the business model, John, was like we run free reports, right?
Yes.
And then to find clients and try to get the business.
yeah, so we have basically, let me go back to the homepage here. We have a competitive analysis right here that we didn't go over today, but basically what it does is the competitor analysis doesn't do the whole thing. What it does is it checks like the top 10 things for AI to see if they even have it. Are they even in the ballpark? And you're going to find out that most people they're not even in the ballpark, right? But it's good to show that to your client to say, listen, X, Y, and Z are your three biggest competitors. They haven't even touched it yet. You will be first to market, and it's a super great selling tool to just show them right now they are not where you're going to be in a week from now.
And that's unlimited on the competitor reports,
Yeah,
right?
there's no limit to that. Yeah. In fact, we're trying to put one up where you can put it on your website so that it's of course it's all white labeled and stuff, but people just can run their own reports because realistically all the stuff is happening on their site. It's sucking up their own websites, right?
Yeah, that's a
So,
great lead magnet, by the way,
mhm.
for you
Oh,
guys.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's a lead magnet right there.
No, no, seriously. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so regardless if we have the one or the five project plan to just to run any website out there, just do competitive analysis
Yep.
process, right?
Yeah, we're gonna make that open to everybody.
And
Yeah.
then what's the action that uses up that one project or uses up the five projects?
It depends on which URL that you put in here.
Okay.
So this would
And
be a website project would be like I am Wild Grace, Legacy Pest Control, Hound. So that's three projects. Mesa, Light Family Dentistry, goes on and on. So basically just a URL as a project.
So that's
okay.
giving you the full report and the ability to create all the codes, the schema codes, all that stuff. That's a project.
Yeah, and it's, honestly, it's a little expensive on our side to run all the AI stuff and all the analysis and everything. So, you know, I'm telling you, this pricing is like our cost when you break it down. After you do all this analysis and stuff, like everything we did right here was like $10 to $12 worth of cost just to run this analysis that we did today. Probably not that much because there's only 6 pages. But if you're to take, an average size website, which is maybe between 20 and 30 pages or something like that, it costs like $12 every time you run analysis. So
All right, and
Hey,
last
Chris, let me.
Last small question, John. Like, what was the range that we could be charging for this? I know
Well, I'll tell
it
you
could
what
be.
range I'm charging. If I were to go for this one right here, where is it? The $27. I earned $60,000 for one website. That's an extreme case. But my first client to do this on, I made 60,000. Now, what I would say is you could probably easily charge $1,000 to $5,000, depending on what type of company it is.
Yeah, and that I have a whole strategy for this that I'm going to be training in the in that mastermind group in the white label where we're talking about building agencies because I have a rock solid, strategy on that stuff I've been using for not just years, decades. So we'll get into that pricing.
Hey,
Anything else?
Chris, I've got a quick question.
Sure.
With Site Pop, you can see somebody's ranking go up.
Mhm.
John mentioned earlier, or you did, about a client wanting to see their before and after ranking, which is nonsensical in AI. The question is, if you optimize somebody's site, they pay you, you've done the optimizations. Yes, the report will have a bunch of greens and much fewer reds, but how, other than running your report, will they know that you did anything? Because your competitors can come out and have all sorts of screen color widget buttons happen and do
Mhm.
nothing to their site. How will the user actually know that you did something positive to their site?
That's a good question. And we answer that in the reports themselves. Remember, there's the three questions like, why do I need it? How do I fix it? And how do I know when it's done? The how do I know when it's done is kind of what you're referring to there. And a lot of the time, it's real physical. You can just show them on the website. Here's where it is. Here's the code that the AI uses to understand what your website is. Maybe that's the schema. You can see, I mean, everybody's going to see the FAQs. That's going to be the most obvious thing that's going to show up on their site, and maybe some of the content that you write. It's going to be written in a way that they probably haven't been experiencing before, and it's good content. It's going to be written differently, and you'll be able to explain it from a technical level, all the different aspects. Because like when we have our AI writing tools, not only do we write it that way, but we have all the supporting um, features on why it was written that way. So like all of the technical things that are involved in there and why it was written that way, because we tell the AI to write. In fact, we have four iterations when we go through and write one article. We have it write the article and then we like iterate and iterate and iterate, and they iterate on very specific things. So we can say, hey, this is where we injected all of the semantic processing throughout the entire site. We rewrote it based on the semantic uh, level, what is it called? The semantic terms that you use for the products and stuff like that. So
Latent.
it's like there's a lot of stuff that you can do to justify it with the technical side as well.
Yeah, you're referring to LSI?
The latent,
Cool, thanks, Chris.
it's close to that. It's a little bit different, but LSI is a good example. The latent semantic indexing is what is for the SEO. There's a whole semantic level indexing that is done on the AI side, which is very similar to the LSI stuff.
Yeah, there's actually a tool for that in the AIO Dominator section
Awesome.
for the semantic content. All right, so let's go through. We've got about 4 or 5 questions up. I'm going to hit those in order. I put the link in here if you guys want to order this. If you know this is something you want to just get out, get in, get out, and get on to the rest of your day. I put the link in there for you.
Tim got it, so.
All right, so Aaron, let's go to you, and also let's keep like the questions of how to sell it and the business and all that stuff. We're gonna cover that when we get into it, and all that stuff will be available like at the agency level, and also the prospecting tool where you'll be able to put it on your site. That will be agency level too because that'll be under the white label portion. So Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, as usual, I'm like the greenest one here. And you have all these amazing tools. And being a twin mom, I really have limited brain capacity, but also time. And like, I want to do things to change our life aside from crypto. Crypto, I feel like that's going to be one thing. But it's like, I still need something, I still need purpose. And this sounds really exciting. Um, So my questions, like I wrote some down, it's just, so this is going to be, if you sign up, there's going to be weekly calls for full support because I feel like I have the problem of like
Yep.
signing up for things and then I'm not fully supported and then it kind of falls flat.
Got it.
Um,
So the support for this also falls under our weekly calls, like today. So
okay.
you have access to me every week for support on anything you need. We also will have a whole membership site around this, just like we have in the past for all of our products. And there's a lot of training in there. We'll do like different trainings on a periodic basis. They won't necessarily be weekly, but probably more monthly. And in the beginning, they might be weekly as we're rolling out just to get everything up to speed. But then at that point, anytime in the future, you can always pop on here.
Yeah. So are you going to do like what Chris did today, showing a website, but one step further of like, this is how you implement the change exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going to be having, yeah, we're going to have been having some training meetings to talk about how do we implement it and what are the easiest ways to do that? What are some of the hard things about it and how to get past those? We'll definitely have those because as I work through those, I'm going to be creating videos and talking about it because I'm going to have revelations as I go through and start implementing on my clients as well. So happy to share those.
Yeah,
And
we'll do
the
everything right down to how to install a WordPress plugin.
Love it. And then my last big question is what is I'm assuming the first go at someone's website is going to be the longest. So say it's like a 20-page site. What is kind of the time frame we can expect to have to work on it to get it competitive?
Okay. The actual time you work on it versus what your customer thinks that you are working on it are going to be two different things. Let's just take a WordPress site because that's one thing that we're going to be probably doing a lot of is WordPress. With the WordPress site, you saw the entire process as we talked through it today. So it takes about maybe 10, 15 minutes to do all the analysis and get all this stuff like generated, right? Then you're going to go to your client. You're going to say, "Hey, we need to optimize your website. I need a username and password to your website." That'll take a week because they'll tell you what they think that the username and password is, and it won't be. Then you'll have to go back again, and they'll wait a day, and then they'll get back to you and say, "No, it's this other one." You're like, "No, it's not." And then, no, realistically, as soon as you get their username and password, you could be up at 10 minutes. So literally 30 minutes, you could make $1,000.
So you're just copying and pasting and copying and pasting and
Well,
then
not
you're
even that, because with WordPress, you just install the plugin and you put in the special API
okay.
key, and it goes and it sucks everything else in their website, and you turn it on and you're done.
You're just checking boxes at that point.
It's literally that fast.
Okay. Yeah, I guess John, you kind of alluded to something like that.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so for someone like me, I basically like if I wanted to try it at the pro level and see if it's working, then I can just by the end of the year upgrade for the 127 a month.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And then were you saying like 1,000 per month? 1 to 5,000 per
No,
month?
$1,000 for every website is what I would recommend. Like, don't do anything for less than $1,000
Okay, so just
because
to
they can't get it anywhere else. It's not like they can shop you around.
right. Okay, cool.
There's
I was you're
options.
talking about like we do this monthly. You're just saying if they don't pay you, then you
Yeah.
Well,
Then it all goes away. Yeah. Then they're left. And it's even worse than if they never did it in the first place. Because think about it. From a programmatic aspect, they go to they go to your site and they see that it's poor right now, right? Then you get all this done and we're gonna teach you how to do signals so that it'll bring the AI bots to you. They'll bring it up and they're like, "Oh, this is great." And they'll ingest it all. And then all of a sudden they come back again to see if there's more and there's nothing. They will ban you for life because they know that they can't trust you at that point.
yeah.
Because they invested all this time and energy, $280 million to bring you into their LLM. And then all of a sudden you left them hanging. They're like, okay, we're done with them. And they'll blacklist you. I don't know if they're going to do this, but it's not going to be a good thing for them.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
make them look bad.
Yeah, I don't think it'll hurt like if it's for a day or a week. If
Yeah.
If they come back through and rescan and you've done that, you're out, then you'll probably be out forever. And that'll give you a good cushion, like for your client. Let's say they stop paying you or their credit card goes bad or what have you. You can literally tell them, hey, you want to make sure that this gets back on before they rescan your site, or you could be banned for life.
Hmm.
But like Chris said, 1,000, you would charge them a setup fee, and then you charge them a monthly fee. So you can charge them way more on the front end. And that's what I did in the beginning in SEO, because nobody likes long-term contracts. That's one thing that'll send people running for the hills. And I realized that early on in my SEO career. So what I did, I knew if they were just paying a small amount every month, they were going to get in, pay it a month or two, and then leave. And I didn't want that either. So when I set up any kind of an SEO scenario, any kind of an SEO customer or contract, it wasn't really a contract, but it was a service agreement. I always charged a 10x factor. Like if they were going to be at $2,000 a month, then their first month was 20 grand. And these were prices that I was charging back then for doing SEO when no one else knew how to do it. And granted, it was a lot of work too.
We
And
didn't have fancy tools like we have now. It was all manual.
yeah, and I never actually did any of the work myself, honestly. I masterminded it and engineered it, and then I would train teams to do it. And that's another thing I'm going to talk to you guys about when we talk about the agency model. There's two ways you could go. You could take like the easy path, which you all know I love, and you could just say, "Hey, I'm only doing this for WordPress sites. Anybody else? Sorry, go fish. Let me build your WordPress site and we can talk." Anybody that is outside of WordPress and they want the work, you should be charging them a lot for it, and you should not be doing it. You should be contracting that out, hiring people in the Philippines. Train somebody in the Philippines to do that work for you, and then just charge a boatload for it.
And any webmaster can do this, by the way,
Yeah,
because basically you're telling them what needs to be done. They just need to know where to put it. So
yeah,
any webmaster can do it. So you don't need to have like a highly skilled SEO expert. No, you need
yeah,
to have a skilled website designer or developer, and that's it.
yeah. I mean, the way Chris developed the whole software, it's step by step, and it tells you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Takes all the magic out of it. So it's really cool. So, all right, let's work through the questions here. Allie, we'll start with you.
Hi, thank you. So just a couple of nuts and bolts, John, and or Chris. So someone like me, I'm a really good salesperson, and like I recommend things to people, and John, even your everything, your services, and so what like, and I'm not, like John knows, and all y'all know, I'm not technical, but I could see selling the shit out of this because of the way the arc is going. Is it better for me, John, to be an affiliate marketer or like team up with somebody, or like what's better, selling direct?
That completely depends on your business model. If you want to be hands off, you can do the affiliate. You can just sell this to people. If you want to team up with somebody, like I know you probably don't want all the day-to-day minutia of a real business. I get that.
Yeah.
So if that were the case, maybe you team up with somebody. Maybe talk to Rich. Maybe Rich wants to run that end of the business, and then you just go out and sell the customers.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, or
that's
even people in our mastermind, because I'm really really good at sales, and
yeah.
anyway, and so then my next question, thank you, John.
Maybe you hook up with somebody like Arba, and she'll
Yeah,
work for you, and you do the
even
sales.
Tim.
There's
Yes, thank you guys. I'm trying to be zeroed in so other people can get to it. So when you price is and John, I'm hearing you 10x the setup fee. The price, do you do a little analysis on the business on the back end? Like, is it based on a percentage of their profit of the actual company you're going after? Like Chris, that $60,000 right out the gate. and like you guys mentioned, you're going for high-end manufacturers. How do you get to talk to the person that can say yes to this and yes to the 60,000
Well, let's keep those kind of questions to
for
that
later?
when we get
Yeah,
into.
because
Okay.
I'd love to answer that, but it would be a longer answer.
Okay,
Very
gotcha. And
interesting how
then
to do that.
can
There's several techniques to do that.
Yeah,
okay,
we'll
great.
get
And
into
then
all
John,
that.
can we have access to the agency training? Even like right now, I'm not in the agency level, but I would be looking at the one business or maybe, depending on what Rich does. He wants to work with you, John. He's like, I want to work with John. So I'm like, okay, great. I'll
On that,
figure it out.
there'll be a whole bunch of stuff that's only available to the agency level. So
Mhm.
that
Because I was thinking if we could get the training, at least even for the first 2-3 months, then maybe we could, like, I could wrap my head around it, based on, you know, letting it wash in. Because,
Allie, you don't have to wrap your head around anything. We're going to tell you exactly what to do, and you can do it the same day. You're not going
oh,
to need
at
months.
the agency level?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
it's a matter of at that point you're either going to do it or you're going to create ghosts, like I talked about earlier.
I'm not interested in ghosts. I gotcha. I understand that how our psychology works to block.
Yeah.
Believe me, I do. Okay, so then I think that oh, and I had the similar question to Aaron, and I missed it in the hearing. Let's say you do the setup fee and then the ongoing fee, is that the $1,000 a month you're recommending?
Again, you're
Yeah.
back into the business box. Let's keep
Yeah.
these questions,
Okay.
the software and the
I know there's a lot to it.
I
We'll get
know.
there though.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Kevin, go ahead.
Good, good presentation, and hats off to Chris as well. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll keep this brief. It's like my weekly check-in to see if any of those dates work.
I apologize. I keep looking at them and I need to get back to you. I'm going to write a note on my forehead today so I get that. I apologize, Kevin.
No worries. I know you're busy. I mean, today's a perfect example. I know what you're working on. But if it pushes back to December, that's fine as well. But
Okay.
there's the email, and I'll resend the email after we wrap up today. So
All right, awesome. I appreciate it.
okay, thanks, guys.
Ian, go ahead.
Yeah, hi John. Yeah, just as I said, I'm due to launch my real estate course shortly. In my UK real estate based course. It's on Kajabi, and it's going to be creating landing pages and such like, telling people how to sort of find building land and such like. I've also generated a website which isn't great at the moment. That's on Hostinger. Where does this fit with them? Them three products. That's what I'm looking to do. Obviously, to use this stuff to promote my real estate online course.
Sure, sure. So if it's not a WordPress site, you can still do this. You can run the reports, you can generate the schema, you can generate the FAQs, you can generate the LLM, and then it's up to you to figure out, like in the software that you're using, whether it be Kajabi or Kartra or any other CRM platform. You just have to figure out where you're going to paste that in there in their code.
Okay.
They all have
Perfect.
the tools to be able to do this because what we're doing here is not out of the norm of what SEO would. It
Yeah,
it kind of follows the same patterns as far as how to get it on the site as SEO stuff.
Okay.
yeah, it's all
Brilliant. So it's just so you
standard.
can still do the stuff and then just fit it in. Just try and do some technical research and find out where it fits in.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that answers
Um,
Melissa's
and
question too about Shopify. It's the same thing.
And then also, is the in reference to like ChatGPT and the various AI platforms, is anyone paying for them, or are you still using the free version? I've come across now limits on data and things like that. 'Cause I'm using it pretty much daily now. Are people moving into the paid versions?
Yeah, they are getting a little stickier. It was very open, it was very free in the beginning, and now they're starting to tighten the belt up. I noticed, like, I use Perplexity most of the time, and I finally wound up upgrading to a monthly paid version of Perplexity because of the limits. It just kept strangling me down.
Yeah, it's because you start seeing the benefit and you use it more, and then you start crossing those limits that they have because
Yeah,
it starts to become part of your everyday life.
does yeah, indeed. That's pretty much what's happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, brilliant. Thanks for your help.
All right.
Thanks, Ian.
And Ian, it does all this works across the pond too, so
Good. Brilliant. Yeah, no, it's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm enjoying using the AI pretty much. Oh God, it's taking up big parts of my day now, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, Roger that.
Okay, hey, I heard that you take the snapshot of, say, the WordPress site and you move the pages onto your server so
Mhm.
that you can process them. And then you make modifications such as the FAQ content and the schema. Do you then push that back out to their site, or do you do some includes, or do you do a DNS redirect and their site is now hosted on yours?
No, it's actually a little bit different. We take it off just for so we can have that snapshot in time, but it's literally we just like store the HTML and we never push it back to the clients. It's just for our use only. And then the way we implement it on WordPress is that we append what they already have. We don't like do anything else. We don't change their website at all. All we do is we just append it by adding the FAQs at the bottom and then the schema we put into the header. Now we may do
The
more things later on, but
some
those are the two
includes or
big ones.
something, right?
Say that again.
In other words, there has to be some modification to their site so that there's an include or a redirect to
It's
the
an
content that
include.
you've generated.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
an
perfect.
include. Yeah,
And that's what doesn't work once they stop paying.
that's correct. That include disappears.
Perfect.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it's dynamically done for each page every time. So it's not like statically on the page. Like for instance, when you take it away, boink, it disappears because that include is just no longer included.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Gives you a lot of control over their site as well. I mean, it's a powerful thing.
All
Hey,
right.
Chris, does the report in Optimancer let you know if their site is WordPress?
Yes. So if you hear me show you real quick. On the very front screen here, you can see the technology next to each one. So you can see this one is WordPress, this one's WordPress, unknown. We don't know what that one is. This one's Vue.js. This one's Squarespace, WordPress, Drupal. This is the one, this is the manufacturer right here, and WordPress. So you can see most of them are WordPress with a few others.
Squarespace. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Huge in the photography space.
Yeah, so that'll let you know if it's a good candidate. If you're in prospecting mode, it's super easy to see if it's WordPress too. We can talk about that sometime.
All right. Anybody
Yeah, I
else?
just Googled it. If you want to see if they have a WordPress site, you just type in like at the end /WP admin, right?
Oh, you can. That's one way to do it, but a lot of people hide those because it's a vulnerability.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think you can even do something simple like just put in the website into Google or to ChatGPT and say, "Is this a WordPress website?" and let it scan it.
Yeah, there's actually a site out there called
Yeah,
builtwith.com.
built with, and that'll tell you as well. Yeah.
That'll tell you everything,
Yeah.
everything you ever want to know about it.
All right, I got to jump.
Okay, hey, thank you very much, Chris, for making the time to get on here and go through all that. That is, I think everybody's pretty fired up about it,
This is
as
gonna be
as
Thank
fun.
you, Chris.
Yeah, it's gonna
Blessings
be
on you.
fun. All right.
Way to go, Chris.
Yeah, this is amazing, Chris and John. Woohoo! But we know you guys are always light years ahead of the herd.
On the leading edge.
Had it for a while.
Yep, definitely.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us for a couple hours. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks for sharing it. Woohoo!
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap it up for this week. I look forward to working with y'all in this. This is going to be a very exciting adventure that we're all departing into the AI optimization world.
Yes. It's definitely been a treat and not a trick. John, I wonder if you could figure out how to make a crypto coin for this.
We wanted to launch it this week because we were going to work off the whole Halloween thing and say, now the scary part is the price is going to go up on Friday.
Yeah, you're gonna miss the window. Yes, FOMO out the wazoo. Oh, every cell will be vibrating.
We're not going to do
thank
that.
you guys. You're both awesome, man.
All right, guys, have a great week, and we will see you all next week.
Great presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ciao. Really good.